In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police, who investigate crime, and the district attorneys, who prosecute the offenders. These are not their stories. Hello, welcome to episode 4 of the Sing When You're Winning, a Fantasy Football League Oddity podcast, still a mouthful, featuring distant cousins of podcast royalty and a very special guest this week, who you can see on screen, but will reveal very shortly. I say see on screen because from this week, we're only in episode 4, we're going bigger. Not sure if it's going to be better, but you'll be able to see us on YouTube, he says. Because if it's not on YouTube, I'm going to sound very stupid right now. Waiting in line for the podcast throne once again this week are myself, Jamie, Chris, Lee, Dan, Steve. We're into episode 4, and I want everyone to introduce themselves, the name of your fantasy league team, and as it's Reading and Leeds Festival this weekend, and I'm off to Leeds on Saturday, so I'm a little bit excited. What's your favourite festival set that you've seen in person? We'll kick off with Lee.
Hello, my name is Lee. I'm manager of a team called the Angry Dragons. Best set? Probably, I went to Leeds in 2000. Me and my brother, we got very drunk on the first 2 days. And the third day, so it was weird back then. It was like on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because it was the bank holiday weekend in August. And on the Sunday, it was Oasis, it was the Blue Tones, it was Shed 7. We got that drunk on the Sunday that we couldn't make the Monday. Out of that weekend, I would probably say Slipknot, bizarrely. Slipknot, which never knew anything about them, really, not too much. It was a load of heavy metal guys with masks. Really good set, though. Really enjoyed it. Got the crowd going, got into the mosh pit and managed to survive. So, yeah, Slipknot.
Slipknot. I was there. Stood by the side going, who the hell wants to stand amongst us? I remember Leeds 2000 very, very well. So you were amongst that lot.
Yeah, I think was that the year that all the toilets got burnt down and everything?
Yes, on the last night. Yeah.
We missed all that.
The atmosphere was horrendous because Oasis played and you knew it was going to kick off. And me and my mates, we didn't stay the last night because they were setting fire to toilets and pushing them over and all that kind of stuff. But the Slipknot day was when Daphne and Celeste played earlier on. And that was when they were throwing the bottles of piss at Daphne and Celeste. And then Blink-182 came on. And Blink-182 spent the whole set going, if you don't calm down, we'll get Daphne and Celeste back out. And they just kept throwing bottles of piss at the stage. It was proper strange. Anyway, but yeah, so Slipknot would be yours. But yeah, it's interesting choice. Let's go, Chris.
My name's Chris, and my team is the Cynical Time Wasters. And yeah, Tea in the Park, 95. I think it was 95, maybe 96. But anyway, Radiohead headlined, and they'd released the Bends, and they were obviously working on OK Computer, and they just played banger after banger off the Bends with a couple of just amazing tracks from OK Computer. They were amazing. They were so good. They were just, they were polished. They were rough and ready. They were everything you wanted them to be. They were amazing. So yeah, Radiohead.
Wow. Yeah. One of the bands I've always wanted to see live, never have. So I'm very jealous. Very good. Dan, how about you?
Hi, I'm Dan. My team is called the Probably Cursed 11. Weirdly, I have more really awful bands at festivals experiences. Following on from Lee's throwing bottles of piss, I was at, now I'm really old and you're all really young, so this is going to date me horribly. I was at Reading Festival when it was still just a heavy metal festival to see Dio, and the band on before was Gay Bikers on Acid, and they lasted about half a song before they were absolutely bombarded by about 10,000 bottles of Strongbow filled with piss. That was amusing. Glastonbury, Van Morrison did a song and a half, stuck 2 fingers up and walked off. Depeche Mode were just rubbish. They couldn't play and they couldn't sing. It was bad.
Do you pick your festivals and your music like you pick your football team, just like, with that real grudge and
and cursed?
You're beginning to work out my life, Lee.
Brilliant. Steve, how about you in festivals?
Oh, I don't know. Surely all the best gigs are the ones you can't remember, really, especially from the 90s and stuff like that. I went to see the Arctic Monkeys in 2007, which was the week before I got married. And my then fiancée, Nicola, who might be listening, she decided to blag some tickets, or she decided she'd go and see if she could meet Amy Winehouse or something. And then she came back and said they wouldn't let me do that, but they've given me some front row tickets. So we got like golden circle tickets for the front for about 8 of us. So we all just went in there, and there was like plenty of room, and there was Arctic Monkeys on, Amy Winehouse on, the Coral on. It was just a brilliant day, really. So probably memorable wise that, and nobody threw any piss at anybody. So
was that Old Trafford?
But, yeah. Lancashire Cricket Ground, yeah.
Yeah. No, the reason why is because there was rivers of piss at the toilets. Because I remember that. I remember going to that gig as well.
I can remember the bar being a disaster when we got there. It took about an hour and a half to get a pint. It was horrendous.
Yeah, it's properly mad.
But it improved.
Good stuff. I'm Jamie. My team name, and I can do it this week. We've got our lovely Terrace League mugs. There you go. I think Lee's got one there as well. And Jamie's Giants is the team. My favourite festival set that I've seen in person would probably have to be, and I'm going to sound like that person now, but it was Bowie at Glastonbury in 2000. It was very, very good, and it probably will never be beaten. But the real reason I saw Bowie at Glastonbury in 2000, this is the loser in me, because I was there to see Embrace one just before, and I thought I was a massive Embrace fan, and I was right at the front. And the Flaming Lips were playing elsewhere, and I was going to go and see the Flaming Lips. I thought I couldn't be bothered, and I'd stick around and watch Bowie, and I'm glad I did. But yeah, I've said for years that was the real reason I was there, but it wasn't. But yeah, very, very good set. Very, very good. Anyway, shall we introduce our special guest this week?
Yes.
So it's a bit of an in-joke, people, for those of us who are on the panel, because we've been preparing, as described on their X page, as rock and roll's favourite magician, who, as seen on TV, has toured with Weller, Pete Doherty, Brian Jonestown Massacre, and is a Magic Circle member. But no, we do not have Ben Taylor, aka Magic Mod. Sadly, he couldn't be with us today, but we've got better than that. We've got Chris Duhamel from Jersey, and I understand you do a great magic trick, Chris.
Yeah. Sadly, I don't.
Have you ever been in the Magic Circle?
No, near no magic circles at all.
What about the Family Circle, the biscuits? Have you ever had one of them?
Which one, sorry?
The Family Circle biscuits. Have you ever had a biscuit from the Family Circle?
No.
I can see Dan going, what's this muck? Family Circle.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of my brain was going that way as well.
Yeah, do you want to tell a little bit around your team, how long you've been playing fantasy football?
Yeah, so I'm Chris. My fantasy football team's called Farke Lottia. I've been playing fantasy football probably since I started work when I was 20 in finance. So there's a big football community over here, very competitive. All finance companies all have their own sort of leagues back then. But it went off the boil probably mid 2000s. People kind of lost touch of it. And then I joined Twitter, and Steve came along, and I joined up with his league.
Excellent. And Dan said last week that you hit the dark horse for the league. What did you think about that?
Yeah, well, I'm very, very happy with Dan's comments. Not really too happy with Steve's. I think he's got his stats wrong. To be in the first couple of years, no one was really taking it seriously. So you kind of pick your team, and then you forget about it for a few weeks. But since it's grown into this massive monster that it's become, I'm definitely looking at my team probably about 3 or 4 times a week, maybe even a day. So I'm really taking it seriously now.
Awesome. Well, we're going to find out. And thank you so much for joining us. We're going to chat to you in a bit more detail a little bit later on. But we're going to have some talking points from game week 1. So my question to the panel, and you as well, Chris, was it all a bit of an anticlimax? I think the games for me were a little bit boring last weekend. Am I being controversial then? I don't think there was any standout games at the weekend. Let's discuss. Any thoughts on that?
Clearly not.
Yeah,
No.
It was just boring. It was that bad. I thought the games were just boring.
They're all boring, no goals. I'm gutted. Watkins was just rubbish. My midfield didn't score any points expected. Premier League to come back in, goals everywhere. I was pretty annoyed with my team and the league games.
Yeah, there's nothing exciting about them to me. And what's going on at Chelsea? Anyone want to comment? Dan, what's your thoughts on Chelsea? Not bothered, not interested.
I mean, other than just loathing them, apparently I heard on 5 Live this evening while I was making dinner that they've dropped Sterling to apparently in their giant squad of about 300 players. They have 2 training squads, and there's the squad, which is the team, and Sterling's been dropped to the lone players squad, which must be about 400 players, which I thought was hilarious. And he's really upset, and he's taken to social media complaining about the fact that he's being sort of sidelined by Chelsea. Obviously, the name precedes me. One of the lowest scores of the week. Before a ball had been kicked, Rodrigo had amazingly, in the space of about 3 hours, pulled a hamstring. I mean, what was he doing before the game? He was fine when I checked on Friday morning. Looked good. Stick with him. Come kickoff Friday evening, he's out for indefinite amount of time with a pulled hamstring, torn hamstring. And then for about 20 minutes, Shah was sent off. So
Never sending off. Never sending off.
I agree. It was ridiculous. That there's a bit of play acting there, I think.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but that doesn't change my 45 points, 22nd in the table. So I this morning woke up really early, and the first thing I did, because I'd been thinking about it sort of weirdly in my sleep, I woke up and I immediately opened the FPL app, and I have tried doing a free hit. Here's what happened, right? Is that last night I looked at Rodrigo, 6.5 million, and I was like, oh, that's okay. I will just trade him out for another Man City player. Can't remember who it was now. It was somebody quite decent. He'll be playing now.
Is it Bernardo, Dan?
What's that?
Bernardo Silva?
6.5, possibly.
He's 6.5, yeah.
6.5. This morning, I go to trade him out for Bernardo Silva. Suddenly, Rodrigo's 6.4. They've taken 0.1 million off him. And here's the thing. Honestly, if somebody's injured for like months with a hamstring, why are they dropping the price? I mean, surely he's worth nothing. Oh, you can't play him. No one's going to keep him in their team. He's worth 0. But no, they took 0.1 off. So I can't trade him with anyone any good. Jar's out till September 15th. I mean, I can eat like 8 points, I guess, by doing 2 substitutions. Or I can just do a wild card right now, which I think...
Already.
Second game.
Would you do it all?
I hate this game so much. And really, I should be paid a lot of money by some very wealthy footballers to not include them in my team, because it's a career-ending decision for me to put anyone in the squad.
It's an idea we could promote with some agents and football clubs.
Yeah, call up Haaland's agent and be like, how much for me not to sign him in my wild card? Because he will.
I think Dan should be commended for getting through that rant without swearing once.
Yes,
it's very, very good.
Very impressive.
Posh potty mouth.
He's evolving.
He is.
I'm on telly now, so there's a different gear here.
Yes, absolutely. So, Steve, do you want to share who started well and who still needs to get out of bed in each division of Sing when you're winning?
I can, and we'll start in the Premier League then, where the best two players were, well, I was affected by Rick hitting an 84 when my team actually did quite well, and I got a 76, I think, but it wasn't enough to beat Rick with an 84, which is quite disappointing. Chris over in Prestwich in a cupboard.
In his neighbour's house.
Also hit 84, so he won his game. He's up there. Other notable people, Andrew Chester got a 77 to beat Michelle, and Ben Shire's got a 75 to beat Faris, so they were good results for them. On the disappointing end, John got a 43 and lost to Chris Dawkes, who got a 48. Dan, 45, I'm afraid, and a loss for you. And Chris, sadly, I'm glad you're here on the panel. You were the worst scorer of the week with 36.
I signed too many attacking players who didn't attack.
No, Chris, you're wrong. It's just because I said you were going to win the whole thing.
It's the curse. The curse.
Now you're bottom, but you've been bottom before, Chris, haven't you? So.
Yeah, but I've never finished bottom.
No, that's true. And you can only go up from here.
Yeah, I'm doing a leads at the moment. I'm just starting a little bit poorly, but I'll get into my rhythm.
It's a marathon and all that.
Exactly.
Okay, into the championship then. Jim got a 74, which was the top scorer in there. And he was playing Alistair Griffin, who, unfortunately for him, got 73 and was the second highest score.
Very close.
That's cruel. Cruel.
So he would have beaten anybody else other than Lee, who also got 73. So well done, Lee.
Thank you very much.
Other notable people in that division, Henry got a 68 to win against Ross, and Stu got a 69 to beat you, Jamie.
Yeah, I did lose. That's a surprise.
Unfortunately, happy with. Did your team do all right though, Jamie?
My team did all right. Started better, and then as the weekend went on, I should have gone for Salah. That was my problem. I didn't, and I think that was the big regret for this weekend. And I stupidly went for Solanke, thinking that he was going to do great things at Spurs, and I want to sell him already.
Yeah, I made that mistake as well. Yeah, he was terrible, wasn't he? Did he touch the ball even?
Yeah, he seemed to have loads of chances. Like every 2 minutes, it was like, how I thought you're not going to score all season, so I might get rid of him this weekend.
It was a typical Spurs performance, unfortunately. It was like loads of chances, but just couldn't convert them.
Yeah,
nightmare.
And by the way, Jamie, don't sign Salah, because I was thinking of selling in my wildcard thing Palmer and Gordon. Palmer and Eze, and getting Salah, which means he'll be, I don't know, murdered. Something. It's going to happen to him.
Well, I saw tonight on Sky, Gundogan's going to be signed potentially back at City. So he could
it's happened, I think, hasn't it? Yeah.
Did it happen? Yeah, right. So yeah, he could be
not a bad free transfer.
Well, you know, last episode I was saying that Bob was going to be my he was going to be the most influential player, and he absolutely was for me, because he busted his leg and meant I just completely rejigged my entire team and just went took out a load of people who got nothing and brought in a load of people who got 12s. So yeah, it's such an absolute lottery.
Yeah,
it is.
Nobody in the championship did that badly, apart from Jonas, who got a 40. Other than that, everybody was in 50s and 60s, so pretty close really in that league, I'd have thought. League One, nothing too outstanding, but 66 for Lee, 66 for Jamie Hurst, and a 63 for Gareth. They all won their games. The bad scores, Magic Ben only 38. Nigel Clark got a 36, Tim Bresnan a 38, and Phil Quall, the worst score there, with a 34 to put in bottom of that one. The Conference League, all the new managers, Duke Witter got 80 points. He beat Rob Lally, who got a 66, so he'd probably be unlucky with that. Notable scores for Ben Halliwell, 71, Pete Martini, 70, Natalie Pike, Grace and George all on 69. And And the other end of the scale there, the poorest teams are all playing each other. So Vicky Sparks got a 43 and beat Becky Bass, who got a 37. And Indy Hawks got a 37 and beat Adam, who got 32. So you can't have a bad week and still win. That's the point there, isn't it?
Exactly. That's your look, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great stuff. So, no, thank you for the scores on the doors in week 1. We were going to talk about the league tables, but we won't. We'll move on. Yeah, I mean, if one of us had been top of the league, we might have thought differently, but we're not. So we'll move on.
Well, I think in old school grandstand days, they never used to do a league table till 3 weeks in or something.
Yeah, they'd have done things properly back in those days.
Yeah.
So, looking ahead to game week 2, though, the rise and fall of the prices, which Dan's hinted at, there's no one gone up in price for game week 2 as it stands at the moment, but this changes daily on the app. And Ivan Toney's gone down to 7.4 million, Darwin Núñez down to 7.4, Kwanzaa for Liverpool 4.4, and Rodri for City 6.4. They're the only fallers, apparently. And most transfers for game week 2 so far, most transfers in is, I can't even pronounce that, Mazraoui for Manchester United. Loads of people gone for him. Most transfers out is Watkins. Everyone's getting rid of him.
The story of 5 Live this afternoon was that Tony might be going to Saudi Arabia because I don't think there's any kind of gambling rules there. So you're all right.
Yeah.
All right. Are we sticking or twisting with our squads this weekend? We'll quickly go around. Chris, our guest, are you sticking or twisting with your squad this weekend?
Yeah, I'm sticking. I'm happy in my team. It just needs to they just need to kickstart. They'll be fine.
Good stuff. I like that confidence. That's what we need. That's what you need sometimes in fantasy.
Just
football.
a change of captain and I'm fine. Just a change of captain.
Good. You'll have a word with the lads. They'll sort it out. Dan, are you sticking or twisting?
Wild card, mate.
Wow.
Seriously?
Wild card.
I've got no choice because I've got 2 players out and I can't replace them without costing myself points. So it's the earliest second game wild card.
Can't wait to see how you get on wild card.
That's hilarious.
I think that's acceptable. The first wild card, you've got to use it before Christmas anyway, haven't you? So
yeah.
But he's using it before the August. He's using it before the August bank holiday.
No.
The transfer window's not even shut. I love it. Chris, how are you sticking or twisting?
I'm going to stick. I got rid of Bob, but he meant that I had to absolutely rearrange my team. And then I thought Eze was going to potentially go to City, and if he was going to go to City, I thought he's going to be another Mahrez in terms of, brilliant when he plays, but you don't know when he's going to play. So he went out, and then I heard that Watkins might not play, so I took him out, and somebody else, Bob and Gordon. I took Gordon out. I don't know why I took Gordon out, but I just went, sod it, take him out, and brought in Jota, Saka, Havertz, and Smith Rowe. And I'm gonna like Chris. I'm just gonna change the captain. I had Isak was my captain, and I should have had it on Salah. So I'll pop it on Salah and see if he repeats or betters what he got this week. But
what is that? Yeah. Is that 12 minus 12 already?
No, I did that before the deadline.
Oh,
yeah, I did it on Friday morning, and I thought I might as well just go big on Liverpool and Arsenal and see if it works, and if not, I'll do what you're doing, but maybe slightly later, and have a wild card in 4 or something. But I'm going to see if I can write it out, see if I can get up to 5 free transfers in the bank.
That's the dream, isn't it? The 5 free transfers.
Living the dream, Jamie. Living the dream.
I can't wait.
If you want to take a minus 12 though, Chris, this week, feel free.
Oh, I'm not playing you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I might make some transfers. I don't know. I'm giving away. Yeah, this is insider
Yeah.
knowledge you're getting
I'm
here.
writing all this down.
Yeah, I'm sticking. I'm not
You're
twisting.
sticking.
Or am I?
Double bluffing. Lee, are you sticking or twisting?
I'm sticking. Same as Chris. I'm going to try and rack up those transfers, and I did all right this week. All luck, fortunately. So I've got some players that have got the cards marked already, though. So you know,
who's got the cards marked?
Son from Tottenham, I think, is on the naughty list, and Isaac possibly as well. So I think they're the two that are probably most at risk because all the other players scored well.
I think Isaac. I'd suggest hanging on to him because I think most of his issues were because they were down to 10. Yeah. I think if they had 11 players on the pitch, I think he would have done well in the second half.
Yeah. He's had a warning. He's had a warning. He's been in the office. He's had a warning. So he's got another 2 weeks. And
he's had a firm dressing down. Right.
That's remedial training and all that type of stuff. So
yeah.
And Steve.
As I've said, I'm playing Chris this week, so I don't really want to give too much away. But I don't know. Porro, I've got a bit of a niggle on Porro, whether he's going to be fit or not. But he was kind of hobbling around at the end, wasn't he? But he was still running, so he might be okay. Bit of a problem like Dan has. I've got Quansah, who's dropped down to a 4.4 now, so I can't swap him for another 4.5. But then he might play anyway. Different type of team they're playing this week, and I think it was a tactical substitution or something because they were getting battered by Ipswich. So I don't know. I'm tempted to stick. It would be nice to keep that sort of transfer kitty behind you.
Yeah. Well, as I say, you can't reveal too much, you two, can you? We'll find out.
Well, my team actually played quite well. I was unlucky to be playing Rick last week, so most of the teams I would have won, and then I've been quite happy with my team. But because I've lost now, it's the panic of I don't want to go into the international break in a couple of weeks with no points, and that's going to be horrendous.
Yeah. So it's about getting that first win, isn't it? It's got to happen sooner rather than later. I think I'm going to stick, but I am seriously debating. I've already said Solanke really annoyed me, so we'll see whether he survives the cull into the weekend. But weekend fixtures, I know most of you don't care about the Premier League, Leeds fans, etc. But are we expecting any surprises in the Premier League this weekend, looking at the fixtures? Is anyone looking at those fixtures and thinking, I don't care? Or are we thinking, oh, actually, we could have some surprises there?
Well, I'm not sure City are going to absolutely blow Ipswich away after the way Ipswich played against Liverpool, certainly first half. They were really good. And if they do that at the weekend, then they could get a result. I mean, they could scrape a draw. But yeah, I don't think Ipswich are going to be as big a pushover as everyone thought.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I half think that Haaland will run riot against Ipswich, to be honest. But
this is the first time that I'm a bit worried not having him, and I've only got Guardiola, so I'm a bit nervous. The only thing I would maybe do is potentially bring in Foden, but who do I get rid of? I don't really want to get rid of anyone. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to, as I've been saying for weeks, just suck it up. He's going to score big some weeks, and I'm just going to have to, put my big boy pants on, take it.
Yeah. I'm the same situation as you, Chris, to be honest with you. I've got one City player in there. I've kind of got three Arsenal players who did well. But when you look at like the fixture of Ipswich, theoretically it's going to be easy. They're going to get a bag full of goals. But after watching Ipswich, I agree. I don't think there'll be a walkover. I can't see Haaland not scoring. But I think City do need another striker, though. I think that, if Haaland gets injured or with Pep roulette and things like that, who's gonna replace him?
But if Haaland gets injured, I can really spend some money.
There is that.
Go wild in the sales.
Yeah. Bags of cash. And then I think Arsenal struggle at Villa.
Same.
Weekend, but I think they'll really struggle.
I think Brighton will beat Man United, and I'm not just saying that as a Leeds fan. I think Brighton are pretty decent sides. Man United there for the taking, and plus Brighton are playing at home as well.
Yeah.
Difficult ground to go to, but yeah, I also think Villa could do Arsenal on Saturday as well.
Yeah, I like that you almost said tomorrow because we put this out on a Friday. I like the way you think, Chris. It is tomorrow. Well done.
Yeah, it's very dark this morning.
Look at where Dan is. It's even darker.
I agree with Chris. I think they could definitely get points against Manchester.
That's three of us. I think the same as well. I think Brighton will be a tough nut to crack for him.
Didn't Brighton do them about 4-0 last year?
Yeah, they did. Was it one of the first 2-3 games, I think? Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we will find out. But I think Brighton will win as well, which will mean that they won't because we've all piled in.
They were great on Saturday, though. They were really good and good to watch as well. Just
really fun to watch.
Matoma. I could
team.
watch him all day. Matoma is brilliant.
It's good to have him back in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big injury last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's been overlooked a lot this season, hasn't he? I think last year I started with him at the start of last season, but then nobody's really mentioned him this summer, and yet he scored last week, didn't he?
Yeah, same with Mbeumo as well. I think those two just nobody's got, but I think they're going to be big players this season.
Well, we shall watch this weekend. It'd be good to start the weekend off with a Man U defeat, wouldn't it? It's just me thinking that. I think most of us would agree on this call. Anyway, let's meet the manager. It's all about you now, Chris. I mean, our questions are all based around Ben Taylor, aka Magic Mob. So this will be interesting how this works out. So I'll start by saying why Fulham, but no, why Leeds United? Why do you support Leeds United, and what are the highs and lows of supporting them?
So my uncle was from Doncaster, and he obviously married my aunt, and he was a big Leeds fan, so he got me into Leeds probably about 86, 87, and then luckily it was a bit of good fortune because we got promoted and then won the league. So they were vague memories because it was probably about 9, 10, 11 then. But the highs for me was signing Robbie Fowler. He was growing up. He was my favourite footballer. From when we signed him, and I saw him score live at the Riverside as well, 2-2 game. That's when I think it was a Martin in goal, and the ball bounced over his head from about 20 yards from Paul Ince. But lows, obviously 2004 and the last 16 years, But I mean, the League One, and a Championship. I mean, there's been some great memories there as well. The promotion side going up as well, and Bielsa signing and doing what he's done. I'm just kind of a little bit nervous at the moment because I just feel that with no signings and the 160 million we've already made this summer, we've not really spent anything, and I'm quite worried about it because it does feel like we are in trouble financially.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be worried from your start. I mean, the game last week, I thought there was that week 3-0 flattered Borough. I thought you played some good stuff, to be honest. And I think Leeds will do all right. I know none of you lot think that, but you're laughing at that. I'm trying to be nice, but genuinely, I thought you played some decent stuff in that game.
Against Borough, I think we started really well, and then the first goal went in, and then it just went to when we just got battered. We just didn't do nothing second half. So yeah, I mean, on Saturday it was a little bit better. West Brom are one of the better teams in the league as well, aren't they? So I'm surprised that we didn't concede. So the defense is fine. It's just the wings and centre forward.
Yeah, and defense and goalkeeper.
Subs.
Possibly manager.
Great
and the ball.
Great fans.
Cool. I've asked each panel member to have a question prepared to ask Ben. So hopefully you've got your question and you've got that for Chris. So I don't know if Dan's looking like you didn't read the brief, but I'm sure you can
read my homework. What?
You don't read your homework. Just think of a question. What do you want to ask Chris right now?
All right. Okay, come to me last.
I'll come to you last. All right.
Come to me second last.
Okay, Steve, you must be prepared. Go on, what's your question?
Right, Chris. I know you're not married, so it's not really relevant either. But after you've had your tea, do you get the wife to help you cut her in half?
Cut it in half. No, I don't, sadly.
And how do you do it?
I really don't know. I made it disappear about 3 years ago, so she's not come back.
That's a good trick.
That's a really good trick.
Thanks for answering that question so sincerely.
Lee, have you got a question?
Yes, so you're known for your fashion sense, and the clothes that you wear. And I've seen your TikToks and your impressions of Liam Gallagher, but we never see what trainers you're wearing. What do you wear on your feet?
I reckon they're going to be gazelles, aren't they? Gazelles. Adidas gazelles. Yeah.
Thank you for answering that question.
This is the in-depth stuff that people come for. Right, Chris, you said penultimate question, so come on.
So I'm asking this. Well, I'm asking this question as if Chris is Ben Taylor.
Yes. For comedic effect, clearly.
Ask him about the Madness gig.
Ask him how Fulham are going to get on.
Yeah, absolutely. How are Fulham going to get on? What do you think is going to make or break their season this year?
Unfortunately, quite have to like Fulham because we've got a young Jersey lad who plays for Fulham. He's out on loan at Birmingham at the moment, so we kind of want them to do quite well. Plus, they're playing Leicester City this weekend, and that's my best mate's side, so I'm hoping for a 5-0 win for Fulham. And I think they do quite well in the league. They've signed some really nice players, actually, so I actually think they'll probably make top 10 quite easily.
Yeah,
I'd love
that. I love that they signed Smith Rowe because I don't think I owned him when he was at Arsenal, but he was one of these players that he was never in my thinking. But that was because he would come on with 15 minutes to go and grab a goal, and then he'd do it the following week and the following week and because he never started, he'd never. I'm wondering if, back in the 90s, if you were doing fantasy football, would you have picked Solskjaer? Do you know what I mean? Because he tended not to start, but he tended to come on and score. I don't know if starting is now necessarily the be-all and end-all. If you know that they're going to come on, and that is what they're good at doing, is coming on. Because Solskjaer, he kind of he was famous for kind of being able to analyse the game when he was sitting on the bench and then work out what was needed. And maybe Smith Rowe's the same, but yeah. Anyway,
the only thing about Smith Rowe is he's very injury prone, so it'd be kind of he might have a good spell and he might be getting Fulham quite a lot of points, but then he could then go missing for about 3 months.
Yeah,
good stuff. Dan, what's your question for Chris?
Given I did do my homework and I don't know who Magic Mod is, I'm thinking of a card. What is it?
Christmas card.
Queen of Hearts.
He's got it. That's amazing.
Wow.
How does he do it?
That's magic.
Ben, can you tell us what your password is?
Paul Daniels 13.
Good stuff. So, Chris, joking aside, do you want to tell us a little bit? Do you want to tell the viewers and the listeners a little bit about yourself when you're not a football manager?
Well, I'm an estate agent, so houses on the islands. I do a lot of sea swimming, whether it's winter or summer. I used to do quite a few marathons, but that's long gone now. But yeah, just like to get off the islands as much as I can. Can get a bit too much here. But yeah, just that's about it, really.
What's a good night out in Jersey like?
It starts usually about 12 o'clock on a Saturday. Straight into the pub, watch the football, and then kind of most of the bars have outside areas, so we kind of sit drinking until about 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Or we go to the beach and drink down the beach. So yeah, it's in the summer. Jersey's a really good place to come to. especially for drinking. Winter, still pretty good for drinking.
How often do you get off the
Sounds a
island?
lot like Wakefield.
Well, a lot of my mates get off pretty much twice a month. Just go over to the UK, to London, or a lot of them are Liverpool fans. So they go and watch Liverpool quite a lot.
What do you ever? What's Bergerac like? Is he nice? Do you see him wandering around much?
Never seen John Nettles, but that was just it's really weird because from a Jersey point of view, you could be at one side of the island in one frame and then the other side of the island in the second frame. So it never really made much sense to us because we all just really confused. How do you get to this place to that place in in a minute? He's running as well. So Jersey being 9 by 5 miles. But there's so many green lanes as well, so it can take about an hour to get from one side of the island to the other side of the island.
And yet the magic of television, you could do it.
I know, but we're really happy about Bergerac being brought back on TV. However, it's being filmed in Cornwall.
Oh,
that's shocking.
Yeah, some bits in Jersey, but most of it in mainland UK, England.
Shocking.
Not going to be the same.
No, I'm not watching it.
I'm not. No.
They might get. How come they haven't cast you, Dan? Should I put in a word?
Because I heard they were filming in Cornwall. I said I'm out.
That was the thing. Not doing it anymore. They used to do that, the location stuff on the brilliant TV show that everyone remembers, called Harry, that was filmed around Darlington about a journalist. It was on BBC back in the mid-90s. Nobody remembers it at all.
Who was in it?
Michael Elphick was the main star, and it ran for 2 seasons. But he'd be driving in Darlington 1 minute, and then he'd be driving over the Tyne Bridge the next, having the same conversation. It was amazing. But there you go. Yeah, I think I must be the only person in the world who remembers Harry, but we'll move swiftly on. But yeah, has anyone got any further questions for Chris, or shall we move on to find out about Bletchley Scott FC?
Bletchley.
Go on,
Bletchley. So for those who aren't aware, Bletchley Scott FC under 15 boys, that's the exact long title. We at Sing When You're Winning, we're sponsoring that team. Carl at the Terrace, let's get them in there. They sponsor the league, but they also sponsor the men's and the under 12 girls who his daughter plays for. So we as a league are sponsoring the under 15 boys. It's all very confusing. You can follow at Bletchley Scott FC on Instagram for updates. But the big news this week are the fixtures are out on the FA website. It's looking all official for them. It's the shortest league season ever, though. They're kicking off on the 7th of September, home to MK Wanderers under 15s. But they get a nice Christmas break. The last game is in December, is the 14th of December against Olney Town Colts. And then they're back New Year on the 11th of January against Linslade Galaxy. They sound a bit of a tricky opponent, Linslade Galaxy. And they end the season. How early do you think they end the season?
April.
Feb.
Earlier
Feb.
than that.
March.
The 8th of March, they end their season at home to Stony Stratford Town. So we've got a short period from September through to March to find out about Bletchley Scott. But yeah, the excitement is the fixtures are out, and we are supporting them, and we're looking forward to the football kits. I don't think they're far off now. Carl said that they're going to be available last week, so we'll look forward to ordering our footy tops. Right, back by what I'm saying is popular demand. We're going to have a game of shooting stars. Everyone
We need some music. We need some music for this, don't we?
But this week, everybody's favourite skipper from Brighton from the 1981 to 82 season, Steve Foster. Does everyone remember him?
Yep.
No, you're going to have to explain who Steve Foster was.
I'll tell you, according to Wikipedia, while at Brighton, this was just after he appeared in Shoot magazine, so this obviously improved his game somewhat. He won 3 caps for England at the end of this season, was a member of England's 1982 World Cup squad. He reached the final of the 1983 FA Cup with Brighton, where they held Man U to a 2-2 draw but he was suspended for the original game and had such an impact in the replay that they lost 4-0. So this is Steve Foster. I can't say I recall him at all, but I'm sure he was a great player. So
You must remember his headband. He had a headband.
Yeah, well, I've seen the photograph of him, so I've seen a picture of him in a headband. So yes,
Rings a bell.
Centre back.
let's start with, this is very shocking answer in my opinion, but you could get away with it in 1981-82 season in a kids magazine. Miscellaneous likes. What were his 2 miscellaneous likes?
Women.
Close.
Betting, smoking.
It's funny people is one of them. And bear in mind, I think, what's your average age reader of Shoot magazine?
About 12.
Yeah. Funny people and blondes. He put that in the magazine. My miscellaneous like, imagine being a 12-year-old going, oh yeah, he's just like me, likes funny people and blondes. There we go. But unsurprisingly, his favourite TV show is
Charlie's Angels.
around that time. Benny Hill.
Benny Hill.
Hill, which might link to the fact that he likes funny people and blondes, maybe. Who knows?
Miss World.
Yeah, I bet he liked Miss World. Who's his best friend? None of you will get this.
His mum.
Well, I don't know. His best friend is, he just says Kim in Portsmouth.
Blonde.
Blonde Kim.
Blonde comedian.
What was the best goal that he's seen scored?
An own goal.
No. Bear in mind, any goal that you've ever seen scored as a footballer, you must have seen some crackers.
Archie Gemmill in the 1970 World Cup.
You would think, wouldn't you?
Right.
He said volley by my best mate Michael Robinson this season. Again, boring. Best goal that he scored though. I love the answer to this one.
I thought his best mate was Kim in Portsmouth.
Yeah, he's lying. He's lying. He's getting himself confused. He's been found out in the same quiz.
Him in Portsmouth reading this and going, excuse me?
His best goal scored was, get this, it's a header against Liverpool, followed up by, it didn't count, even though it crossed the line.
VAR.
He's not better. And then the last question is, what was his car?
Ford Capri.
One of these days.
A Mini.
No.
XR2.
I'm going to stick with Rover 2000.
It's a Dino Ferrari.
Oh.
Well,
What were these cars that footballers drove in 1981 and 1982?
Can I just say also that all my best goals are the ones that didn't cross the line?
I was going to say, it's not a goal then. It's like that phrase, he was denied by the post. No, he wasn't denied by the post. He was denied by not being on target.
That's it. Exactly. Absolute nonsense once again. So we might have another game of that, but I can't get much more. I can't really go anywhere with footballers' jives. So we need to come up with something better for next week. To be fair,
Maybe have a different year next week, just because my answers are. We're just going to be saying Ford Capri, Barbra Streisand, and
Kim in Portsmouth.
Kim in Portsmouth.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to upgrade my Google game on finding these, because for some reason there's a niche market of 1981, 1982 that is on different sites. But yeah, I'll get looking. We're coming to the end of the show, sadly, but you can follow us on Twitter at SWYW_FPL. If you're watching this on YouTube, why not leave us a comment or ask us an FPL question, and we might even discuss where we'll be joined by another top guest. Do we want to try and get Magic Mod on again, or I think we should leave him till later in the season? I think
Really?
Wait until he loses his password and then get him on.
Yeah, that'll be good fun. But thanks, Chris, for coming on. Good luck with the season.
Thank you very much. Been a pleasure. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, and enjoy your drinking in Jersey this Saturday. It sounds like the place to be fair, to watch football.
We'll do.
And good luck, Steve and Chris, in the big match this weekend. May the best manager win. We'll find Right, thanks to you all as ever. Enjoy your footballing week. Thanks for tuning in, and keep on singing and keep on winning.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.